Alright, so this is just going to be a quick overview of the production possibilities curve. And a production possibilities curve is a list of all of the different combinations, so this is one important part, of two goods, that's another important part, that an economy is capable of producing using a given set of inputs and current technology. So what I've done here is I've just drawn a production possibility, or I've drawn certain points on a production possibilities curve. And so let's, just for the simplicity of graphing, I've gone ahead and labeled our goods good X and good Y. And I should put a title on here. So if we can make these anything we want, but let's just say that good X is corn and then good Y is wheat. So this might be a farmer's production possibilities curve. And so he can either produce 8 bushels of wheat and none of corn, or 7 bushels of wheat and 3 bushels of corn, 5 bushels of wheat and 5 bushels of corn, 3 bushels of wheat and 7 bushels of corn, or 0 bushels of wheat and 8 bushels of corn. And so that, I've just gone ahead and plotted those points over here on this graph, and then I'm just going to go ahead and connect all of them close enough so that we can see the range of outputs that he can choose. Obviously, he could choose to plant, a little bit more corn and a little bit less wheat than if we were at 5 and 5, so he could be, a little bit over here. But it's up to him, and these are just the points that I'd outline just because they're easy whole numbers. So there's 3 things that I want to say in this video, and then we'll do a little bit more in the next video. The first one is that you can produce anything inside the production possibilities curve. So this farmer, let's say, could produce Y as wheat. So he could produce 7 bushels of wheat and 3 bushels of corn. But he could also go ahead and produce, 3 bushels of corn and 6 bushels of wheat, which would be right here. Or he could produce 3 bushels of corn and 5 bushels of wheat, or 3 and 4, or 3 and 2, or 3 and 3, or 3 and 2. And he could do the same thing over here at 5. He could produce 5 bushels of corn and 5 bushels of wheat, or he could produce less of either. So he could produce 5 and 5, or he could produce like 5 bushels of X is corn, so he could produce 5 bushels of corn and 4 bushels of wheat, or 3 bushels of wheat, and just be a little bit lazier. And the same thing going this way. So inside your production possibilities curve, you can produce any set of the combinations over here. So if you get a question that's like, here's your production possibilities curve, and then in orange here is the point A, and orange is A. Is this economy, or is this farm, or whatever you're talking about, capable of producing this combination of outputs? And the answer is yes, and they'll even be able to produce more outputs than that because you are inside the production possibilities curve. So you'll be able to produce all of those outputs, and you'll still have a little bit of resources left over, or a little bit of inputs in this terminology. So the next thing that I want to say is, if you have a point that is on your production possibilities curve, like this red one right here, point B, let me just go ahead and write this out. So A is capable of producing, and you'll have leftover. Producing with leftover or extra inputs. Then B is that you're capable of producing it. I'm just going to use the ditto marks, but you'll be at maximum capacity, capable of producing with or at maximum capacity. And that's because that is your frontier. Hold on, I can't write. At maximum capacity. So point B right here, this is your frontier. This is the absolute maximum that you can produce. And that's just from the definition right here. And then the last thing is that if you have a point like point C out here in pink, that you are not capable of producing because it's beyond your production possibilities. So not capable of producing with, and this is the important part, you're not capable of producing it with this set of inputs, with your given set of inputs and your current technology. So if you got more inputs, like in the case of a farm, if you got more land or maybe better equipment or more seeds, I don't know, if you got more inputs, then you could probably produce at point C. Or if you got better technology, just you got maybe a new kind of seed that was way easier or that grew way more, then maybe you could produce it. But with the given set of inputs and current technology, this economy is not capable of producing beyond its production possibilities curve. So it's not capable of producing at C. And in the next video, we'll go over opportunity cost with production possibilities curves.